Thank you, Chairman Siris and Chairman Castro, Ranking Member Malliotakis, for holding this joint hearing, and I want to thank our witnesses for being here today. First, I'd like to take a moment to highlight a matter that is near and dear to my heart: the unlawful detention of Tennessee resident Matthew Heath. For almost 2 years, this U.S. Marine veteran has been held hostage in Venezuela. As a result of his mistreatment and torture by the socialist Maduro regime, he actually attempted to take his own life this weekend. I'm praying for his health, and I urge President Biden to do all possible to bring Matthew home. Ever since the Biden administration enacted its open borders agenda, we've seen a surge in illegal migration at our southern border. Under President Biden, border encounters continue shattering records. Last month alone, illegal border crossings hit a record high of over 239,000 encounters. And this doesn't count the people who go around CBP. Watering down the migrant protection protocols, threatening to end Title 42 expulsions, and limiting border wall construction amounts to increasing the pull factors leading to skyrocketing illegal migration. We've seen heartbreaking stories in the media of the real-life consequences of these reckless policies: Border Patrol agents rescuing drowning children in the Rio Grande, sexual assaults of women and children by traffickers, and forcible recruitment of migrants into crime, to say nothing of the fentanyl crisis and the hundreds, thousands of Americans who've died to overdose. While the Biden administration refuses to address illegal immigration's pull factors, such as our broken immigration system, there is an opportunity for bipartisan solutions to some of the push factors. One of these push factors is the lack of economic opportunity in migrants' countries of origins. This hearing on private investment provides an excellent opportunity to address this critical issue and to jumpstart our joint efforts with our Western Hemisphere counterparts to create more jobs for their citizens and investment opportunities for American companies. However, there has been a growing sense of hostility by Latin American governments toward the private sector, which is the engine of job creation. We've seen Mexico discriminating against the American private sector, Honduras pass a bill to repeal its special economic zones, and others threaten to nationalize key sectors like mining. This has got to change. If countries want to create more jobs, they must create business-friendly environments. Through U.S. leadership, I'm hopeful that we can reverse some of these unfortunate developments. I'm willing to work with any government in the Western Hemisphere that respects the rule of law and market-driven models of economic growth. These are the nations that will attract private investment, create long-term, sustainable jobs for their citizens. One of the best ways to help increase economic opportunities for our southern neighbors is through nearshoring. According to estimates by the Inter-American Development Bank, IDB, nearshoring could add an annual $78 billion in additional exports of goods and services in Latin America and the Caribbean in the near and midterm. To put this into perspective, in 2020, Guatemala's GDP was estimated to be roughly $77.6 billion. Such a huge influx of capital from nearshoring would mean massive growth if concentrated in smaller countries like Guatemala. The IDB recommends countries focus on a 3I strategy: investment, infrastructure, and integration. Investment meaning creating a business-friendly environment, not scaring companies away with hostile rhetoric of nationalization. Infrastructure means building and repairing the roads, bridges, seaports, airports, and energy grids necessary for business to flourish. And integration, of course, involves increasing and harmonizing trade agreements to reduce the regulatory patchwork that currently exists between countries. My bill, the Western Hemisphere Nearshoring Act, co-led by Chairman Siris, assisted in the writing by members of the State Department, people from both sides of the aisle, addresses all of the 3 I's. It addresses investment through ultra-low-interest DFC loans while urging countries to reduce bureaucratic red tape, streamline permitting, and embrace free market principles. It helps address infrastructure by providing technical assistance for energy grids and streamlining the application process for nuclear reactors. And it addresses integration by directing the U.S. Trade Representative to obtain trade agreements with our Western Hemisphere allies with whom we do not currently have trade agreements. The bill is a win-win-win. It makes our supply chain less vulnerable to communist China. It will create more jobs and economic growth for Latin America and the Caribbean. And as opportunities increase in the Western Hemisphere, the nearshoring of manufacturing will decrease migration to the United States southern border. I urge all of my colleagues to co-sponsor this bipartisan, common-sense bill, and I hope Chairman Meeks will schedule it for a full committee markup soon. Private investment is the key to addressing the lack of economic opportunity in many Latin American and Caribbean countries. If governments embrace the rule of law, respect human rights and private property, and if Democrats and Republicans can work together, we can tackle one of the most significant push factors to the surging migration at our southern border. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I yield.